lose their third straight, 6-3 to the Sabres in Buffalo. We'll tell you what went wrong and why. And we've got our weekly farm report. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Gil Martin with you. So glad you could join us today. Thank you for being part of the Locked On Islanders family and for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Rough night last night for the New York Islanders. They fall to the Buffalo Sabres 6-3 in Buffalo. And realistically, the Islanders just did not get the job done. Did not play Islanders hockey. We'll have our key takeaways from the game. We'll tell you what went wrong and the few positive things that came out of this game. But overall, 3 losses in a row. And, we talked about the Islanders' need to get 5 or 6 points on this 4-game road trip. They got 2. So things not looking good in that regard. We'll have our weekly farm report, and we go back to the mid-70s for our Islanders' birthday of the day, a two-way forward who really played a key role in the Islanders' transformation from expansion team to regular playoff contender. See if you can guess who today's Islanders' birthday of the day is. If you've got something Islanders related on your mind, you have a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to send us an email. The email address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave we are Locked On Isles, leading it all. Let's get started. Let's talk about what happened. The Islanders really doing too many of the things they've done poorly most of this season, and it came back to bite them in the rear end in this game against the Buffalo Sabres. You go into this game, look, Buffalo has been struggling as of late. They're not one of the better teams in the league. The Islanders knew they needed to come out and be aggressive and nail down the 2 points to at least break even on this 4-game road trip. And instead, here is a game they never led in. They were behind 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, and then the 2 empty net goals at the end it. But here's the thing. You look at this game overall, and the style of play was dictated for most of this game by the Buffalo Sabres. And the shot totals alone really tell you everything you need to know. Buffalo outshot the Islanders 41-33. 41 shots on goal by the Buffalo Sabres. 41 shots. That's not New York Islanders hockey. It's the Islanders' method of getting success. You give up 6 goals in a game, and so if you see 4 goals, 9 shots, which is what Sorokin did. You're not winning too many games if you're the New York Islanders when you are putting the puck in the net. overall, this team just not play sharp, did not play well in their own zone, and struggled to keep up with a Buffalo Sabres team that has been struggling as of late. So, you sort of take it down a notch and struggle in your own end. How many times in the first period and really throughout a lot of this game did we see the Islanders struggle to just get the puck out of their own zone? Just clear zone. I mean, unbelievable. Gave up a shorthanded goal because they were sloppy and careless. Tage Thompson getting the shorty against the Islanders that made it 2-1. If the Islanders score a power play goal there early in the second period, Islanders would take the lead. Oh, no, here we go again. No, the opposite happens. The Islanders looked indifferent. They looked careless. The Sabres realistically just wanted more. And that's the thing I have. You are hanging on to playoff hopes by the skin of your teeth coming into this game. After this game, it's not even that. But you know you need to win this game. And you give up a shorthanded goal because you're kind of indifferent. Really, really not what this team needs to do if they're going to be successful. And then the old bugaboo. 0.6 seconds left in the second period. We're tied 2-2. Again, I'm not going to sit there and say Sorokin wasn't terrible. But again, how many times have we seen the last minute of a period, minute and a half? Guys, it's almost like it is 19 minutes in their minds instead of 20. Giving up that goal, yeah, it was a power play goal, but boy, oh boy, you can't keep giving up goals in the last minute of a period. It's a momentum changer. Just goals not being equal, and those minute goals in a period are demoralizing for teams. And to the Islanders' credit, they came back. Kyle Palmeri tied it midway through the period, and it looked like we could be heading overtime, and at least Islanders point end with this, and 55 left. Buffalo scores. The floodgates open, and voila, 4-3, and then the two empty netters, 6-3. The bright spots, well, there weren't too many of them. Realistically, the biggest one, Kyle Palmeri, 2 goals. That was double his total in the first 29 games. We talked just on Ye's show, where what should the Islanders do about Kyle Palmeri because he hasn't been producing? Well, they sat him out. He comes back from paternity leave and from COVID protocols, and then being a healthy scratch for the game. He's a new father, comes out, scores 2 goals. Now he has 3 on the year in 30 games, which is still on pace for 8 for the season if you play all 82 games, but it's better than 1. And the Islanders certainly need him to come and Barry Trotz put him on Lee and Barzal, so he unites the top line, and that's definitely a positive. But overall, other than Perry and maybe Anders, who was had a goal and team, really weren't too many positive to take away. The Islanders weren't physical again, and they've been less physical, and it's being hitting and shots are really, for the most part, a question of desire, and they didn't have that tonight. even, look at the forwards. And, Matt Martin, 1 hit. Cal Clutterbuck had Bailey, Lee, all got credited with that kind of game. And we're going to be fine. You give NHL players, even, a struggling team like Buffalo, you give them that much room and that much time, and they're going to take advantage of it. And that came back to bite the Islanders in the rear end last night in Buffalo. When we come back, we'll have our weekly farm report. We'll talk about all things Bridgeport Islanders, and we have our Islanders birthday of the day. That and more still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. This is the time of year that I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not a protein bar, they're a treat. They're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors like yummy cinnamony churro, coconut marshmallow, and banana cream pie. Banana cream pie. So good, they're going to be your new favorites. And yes, all Built Bars, including the Puffs, are covered in 100% real chocolate. And look, most Built Bars have just 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, but they pack 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. At Built Bar, they are all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, then they figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how they do it, but they pull it off every time. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. Time now for the weekly farm report as we talk all things Bridgeport Islanders. And Bridgeport, still kind of treading water right now. Over the weekend, they split their 2 games. They were in Charlotte against a tough Charlotte Checkers team. Friday night, they win 4-3 on the road in Charlotte. And that was a big, big win. 2 goals each for Chris Terry and Otto Koivula. They also had an assist. Jeff Kubiak had 2 helpers. And then Arno Durando gets the game-winning goal. And Corey Schneider, 32 saves in his 3rd consecutive start as the Bridgeport Islanders skate to a 4-3 win over the Checkers. And it was a great way to start the weekend off. It was, typical Bridgeport Islanders hockey in that they did not quit when they fell behind, got a few goals back, and just played solid overall hockey. Now, Saturday, they come with the rematch. They fall 2-0 in that game. Again, in Charlotte, not an easy game to win. And both goals coming in the 3rd period for Charlotte. It was disappointing to see that on test inning. But again, Charlotte, very, very solid. 35 save effort for Ken Appleby. And you get a power play goal, a little less than 3 minutes left. And then the last goal, which came in the final minute. Appleby was outstanding. And this was, by the way, the first time that Bridgeport had been shut out all season. Spencer Knight, who is a Connecticut native, making 25 saves to earn the shutout for Charlotte. But overall, Strong game for the Islanders, except for the fact, the Bridgeport Islanders now, that they weren't able to put the puck in the net, and that was sort of the disappointing aspect of it. Meanwhile, the Islanders last night, Tuesday, facing the Rochester Americans, and they fall 3-2 in overtime in that one. Islanders fell behind 1-0, but then Andy Andreoff scores. Then they fall behind 2-1, and then early in the third period, Paul Thompson, his fifth, ties the game at 2 before, in overtime, J.J. Peterka gets the game winner 3-0-1 into the extra session. So the Islanders get a point, but are unable to get the win. Ken Appleby again in goal, 27 saves. Islanders out shooting the opposition roster by a margin of 34-30, but not able to get the win, and that is certainly frustrating. But you pick up the point. So 3 games over the last week, and the Islanders go 1-1-1. Chris Terry, 33 points heading into last night's game, leading the team in scoring. He has 14 goals, which also leads the team. Otto Koivula, 22 assists to pace the team. He has 32 points, followed by Arno Durando, Andy Andreoff, Simon Holmstrom, Jeff Kubiak. Those are your leaders. Cole Bardreau, now 14 points in 26 games. Grant Hutton, now leading all defensemen in points, 5 goals, 12 points. Mitchell Van de Sample also with 12 points, all of them assists. But overall, those are leaders right now. As far as goalies are concerned, we haven't seen Jakob Skarek playing recently. Corey Schneider, a 308 goals against average, 5.9-2 on the year, a 906 save percentage. Schneider, of course, up as the Islanders' backup goalie last night in Buffalo, mostly because of the COVID situation involving Semyon Varlamov, who remains unavailable. So Skarek was the backup last night for Bridgeport, while Appleby got the start. So that was the situation there, and the Islanders again trying to get back to their winning ways. 1-1-1, not a weekend overall, not a bad, but if you want to make up ground, you got to do a little bit better than that. This weekend, 2 games on tap. At home, Saturday, a 7 o'clock Eastern time start. They will be hosting the Hershey Bears. And then Sunday, the Hartford Wolfpack, the Rangers Farm Club, invade Bridgeport for a 3 o'clock Eastern time Sunday matinee. Next Wednesday, the Springfield Thunderbirds will be the home team, and Bridgeport will travel to Springfield for that matchup. So that'll be the 3 games in between now and next Farm Report. Although actually, if we do the Farm Report again on Wednesday, we won't know the outcome yet of that next Wednesday night game. So busy week, 2 games over the weekend, 1 game midweek coming up for the Bridgeport Islanders. And again, just hoping that they can start climbing the standings as they continue to fight for position in the AHL standings. Islanders Farm Club, again, better than they were a year ago, but still not quite where we want them to be. And, the goaltending situation with Varlamov out due to COVID is impacting things in Bridgeport. All right, when we come back, we'll have our Islanders birthday of the day and some important final thoughts on where this team stands now as they head home to take on the Boston Bruins Thursday. But a disappointing road trip, to say the least, for the New York Islanders. Thanks again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Make sure to check Olympic Daily. It's presented by Locked On NHL, a bonus podcast covering all the action in Beijing. Find it on the Locked On NHL podcast feed, and it's free and available wherever you get podcasts. Brought to you by your friends at Fine Football. For the basketball in full player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Bet online, where the game starts. Today's episode is also brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it is now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. So why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. You could save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business. They've been serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and they have everything you could need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even a new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. We're going back to the early days of the Islanders, and we want to wish a very happy birthday today to former Islanders center Andre St. Laurent. He will turn 16. St. Laurent drafted in the fourth round by the Islanders back in 1973. And before that season was over, he spent the second half of the year with the Isles, playing in 42 games, 14 points. His best statistical season, 74-75. Islanders' first playoff year, he had 14 goals and 41 points in 78 games. Remained with the Isles through the middle of the 77 or the beginning of the 77-78 season, when he was traded to the Detroit Red Wings, then played for the LA Kings, Pittsburgh Penguins, and then a second brief tour with Detroit before ending his pro career. He actually played one game in France in 1989-90. That was his final professional game. For 644 games, 129, 316 points, and 749 penalty minutes. Add 59 playoff games, 8 goals, 20 points in those. And for St. Laurent, he was the kind of guy. He was a good two-way checking center. He was a perfect third-line kind of guy. He'll get you your 15 goals or so, and really a good checker. And you had him out there on a line with Gary Howitt and Bob Nystrom, and those guys just checked you to death. And they really were sort of the Islanders' shutdown forward trio in the mid-70s. And St. Laurent was a part of the Islanders' transition from expansion team to playoff team to actual contender. We're going to go back and look at one of Andre St. Laurent's better games with the Islanders, January 28th, 1975, at the Nassau Coliseum. The Minnesota North Stars are the visiting team. Pete Lepreste, the goaltender from Minnesota. Billy Smith in between the pipes for the Islanders. And our Islanders' birthday of the day, Andre St. Laurent, gets the scoring started. His fifth of the year, Lorne Henning and Ed Westfall with the helpers at 7:57. Isles up 1-0. Then J.P. Parise, Zach's dad, his 12th from Westfall and Ralph Stewart at 11:44. Isles quickly up 2-0 after one period. In the second period, Dennis Potvin got his 17th of the year. Gary Howitt, the assist at 6:50. Isles up 3-0. But then former Islander Doug Rombaugh got Minnesota on the board, an unassisted goal, his 8th at 13:06. 3-1 Isles after 40 minutes. In the third, Bobby Nystrom, as the banana line, as it was known, strikes. Nystrom, his 17th of the year. Assist to our Islanders' birthday today, Andre St. Laurent and Gary Howitt at 5:59. That makes it 4-1 Isles. Doug Hicks makes it 4-2 as he scores for Minnesota, again unassisted at 6:27. But then the Islanders put it away. Andre St. Laurent, his 6th of the year, 2nd of the game. Nystrom and Howitt with the assists at 9:42. And then with Dennis Potvin in the box for tripping, Lorne Henning with a shorthanded goal, Ed Westfall and Bert Marshall with the helpers for Henning, his 1st of the year at 13:14. Islanders skate away with a 6-2 win over the North Stars. And for Andre St. Laurent, 2 goals, 3 points, a +2. He had 5 shots on goal in this one, and the Islanders get the win. Billy Smith only had to make 18 saves as the Islanders outshot the North Stars 40-20 in this one. So Andre St. Laurent, a great appreciated. Probably if you don't remember Andre St. Laurent, but he was his birthday. Return to action Thursday morning against this team. Right now, they just don't seem to have the horses. They are just not playing good hockey. And this season is rapidly slipping away. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the game against Boston and hopefully to talk a little bit more about some of the things this team can do to get back on track, because they're just not playing Islanders hockey. Want to thank you once again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. It's your one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert insight and analysis by Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.